a beautiful Thursday morning, a very colorful one at that, and that's why, I have multicolors on this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Bumper Breakfast Show on MITV. Watch out, just keep your eyes on MITV and see what's happening, what's about to happen. Anyway, like I said, welcome. I have two gentlemen on the table this morning. I was looking at one of them, Adebayo Ilukweju, good morning, and I said to him, you're always complaining that there's no money, but no one will look at you and believe you. So stop saying, that things are difficult and, Nigeria is happening to people, because if I was supposed to judge based on your presentation, I would say that Nigeria has so much wealth. Good morning, Adiba. Looking so millionaire-ish.
Good morning, Dito. I think I would say I accept that. I claim it.
You claim it.
I claim it.
Yeah.
But they always advise that we shouldn't look like what we've been through.
True.
And so even whether the times are rosy, whether they are not rosy, one has to have that limit. You don't have to go to the extreme, either the poorly extreme or the other extreme. Maybe. So we have to always make that effort to look our best at every point in time. Because sometimes people merely looking at you helps them lift their own spirit as well. So if somebody is looking up to you that, I know that if I see Tom this morning, I'm going to smile. Just that alone. So we must also make ourselves look good for the benefit of other people around us.
That's correct.
Good morning, Nigerians. Yes, it's time for breakfast.
It's time for breakfast. And we have the sportsman, Stanley Paul Ikao, always, in his sports wear, ready to talk sports and do sports and everything. But unfortunately for him this morning, we've had to drag him to the breakfast table because, Rio is unavoidably absent. So Stanley has to sit in for Rio. He didn't expect it, he didn't want it, but we said, you know what, you've got to do it. So Stanley, I would say welcome and thank you.
Tom, good morning. I didn't want it, but it's something you can't say when it will come.
Yes.
Always be expectant
Exactly.
in this industry, because you never can tell where and how it will come. It's my job, it's my duty, it's our responsibility, whether you
The show must go on.
caught in an angle or not. Ensure you do what? Find a way out of it, and of course balance yourself. Like Better said something, put a smile on your face, no matter the condition.
Yes,
Now, it's not about just you opening all your teeth, smiling. Like they say, your look sometimes can help raise the hope of a dying man. And the last thing to ever leave a man, like they say, is hope. It's on that note I say good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Adebayo Ilukweju. Good morning, the ever elegant, always young, forever young, like Jay-Z said it. Tomo Aderele. Lagos, Nigeria, let's do this again this morning. It is what it is, Tomo.
It is what it is. Thank you so much, Stanley.
Always a delight.
And the first story we're going to be looking at is, from the president. He says, let's use policies to improve lives, and that's coming from the president. We already know who he is. I didn't bring my glasses, but I will try. Against the backdrop of tough economic reforms and rising public expectation, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday threw down a challenge to governors, ministers, and top government institutions. He demanded that policy decisions must now translate into visible improvements in the daily lives of Nigerians. Speaking at the close of a two-day National Economic Council conference in Abuja, the president insisted that his administration's renewed hope agenda would not be judged by resolutions or rhetorics, but by concrete outcomes in jobs created, roads built, schools strengthened, healthcare improved, and investor confidence restored. President Tinubu, who was represented by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, warned that the gathering must not end as another high-level discussion without measurable impact. He said, reform is not an event, it is a process. It requires courage, patience, and consistency. The decision we make here must translate into visible improvements in the daily lives of Nigerians. Jobs created, business supported, roads constructed, schools strengthened, healthcare improved, and opportunities expanded. He commended Vice President Kashim Shettima for what he described as steady leadership of the NEC and praised governors, ministers, development partners, and private sector stakeholders for their contributions. President Tinubu stressed that disciplined implementation across all tiers of government would determine the next phase of national development. He said the Renewed Hope agenda is not a slogan, it is a national commitment. That commitment demands that we move beyond dialogue to delivery. Together, we will build a more resilient economy, a more inclusive society, and a stronger federation. The conference held under the theme Delivering Inclusive Growth and Sustainable National Development. The Renewed Hope National Development Plan produced wide-ranging policy recommendations covering taxation, crude oil theft, security, social spending, investment, and constitutional reforms. Reading the communique, Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Dr. Deborah Odo, said the participants agreed that the mandate of the NEC Committee on Crude Oil Theft should be sustained and expanded given the scale of losses and their impact on national revenue. The communique also urged federal and state governments to deepen partnership with the private sector, civil society, and development partners to drive inclusive and sustainable growth. On tax reforms, the conference commended 2 states that have already passed the harmonized tax law, urged 13 states with bills before their houses of assembly to fast-track passage, and called on the remaining 11 states to begin the process to curb multiple taxation. Others said there is an urgent need to ramp up investment in the social sectors, particularly education, health, including nutrition. He noted Nigeria's persistent underinvestment in human capital. On security, the conference stressed that military operators alone would not resolve Nigeria's challenges, recommending non-kinetic measures such as tracking unemployment and poverty alongside stronger interagency coordination and closer alignment between states and the national security framework. Speaking after the event, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said the outcomes of the conference must be taken beyond government circles to the organized private sector and the National Assembly. Well, that's the whole story, and it was intentional, to read that story because, after every paragraph, it was becoming more interesting, and we needed to know the entire thing. Usually, when we understand the meat of the story, we drop the rest of it. But this, for me, every part of it is crucial and important, for our discussion. So, Adebayo, it is on the table. The president has spoken, and it's not about having a meeting. Well, according to what he said, through Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, he's saying that it is not about having these meetings, setting these policies alone. He wants to see these things translate into reality. One thing that caught my attention is, cutting social spending. I mean, if that's coming from the president, what's happening? Is there a rejig or something? Well, it's up for you to discuss, and let's see how that goes.
I think it's actually coming. It's something that we've always needed, but then there's always they say less talk, less, more action. Right?
Because talk is cheap.
Yes. However, this particular conference, if they can stay true to these conversations that they've had, then I think we are on a good path. So the renewed hope, then, if we see it in action, then our hopes will be renewed. Consistency, the only word that I held there in the whole of that piece was the consistency, that policies have always been made in this country. And they spend a lot of money in the process of putting these policies together. A lot of people benefit. The lives are changed in the process of making the policies. But the people for which these policies are made never experience the benefits that these policies were meant to bring to them. So the president now saying this, that we need to make policies work, we need to run based on policies, telling governors and MDAs, I think it's something that we need to really sit on and encourage them to do. Now, when I say consistency, over the years, there's been policies, but when governments change hands, policies are dropped or they are kept in the coolers. If we get serious, regardless of party affiliations, ethnic affiliations, religious affiliations, that Musa came up with a policy and the policy is good enough, if I, Isaac, get into power, I should be able to ride on that policy, because today Nigeria is where it is, primarily because of lack of consistency in policies. PDP goes, APC comes in, you rubbish all of the policies of the PDP. Meanwhile, you may say that party, they are not so good, they are not organized, but it's not possible that somebody would put 10 items on the table and at least one will not be good out of these policies. So, but because we are so divided as a people, I have heard people when Stanley says, I'm going to ensure that this sport becomes global standard. And somebody will say, don't mind it, he's looking for where to eat money. Why not look at what he has said first? Why not deliberate on what he has said, think through it, and then start to address him based on that, engage him, ask him, how do you intend to achieve this? We do not engage with people. We do not engage with our leaders. We are angry, we are mad at them. And so even when they come with good policies, we attack them from the onset. You understand? And it's always on the basis of, I don't like your face, I don't like your party, I don't like your ethnicity. Until Nigerians also, so Nigerians are divided along these lines, until we decide that these lines don't really matter. And when they see it in us, then we can push it to them. So if we see a leader that is pushing himself around along these lines that are not ethical for us, then we should start dragging them, like the netizens will say.
Well,
Okay,
so before we move on, let me quickly add to what Adebayo just said. I think it's a strong statement that Mr. President made through Gospel Akpabio. Governor needs to start making sacrifices. Ministers, political office holders need to start understanding that you are not there for your own personal gains alone. The people must feel while you're there. And it's not too much to ask of. Yes, perhaps Mr. President, to some persons, is just trying to douse the tension. And, you understand? He's making a political statement because it's electioneering time right now. We are approaching electioneering time. But the bottom line is he has made a statement. He made one some time ago where he told all state governors to allow this local government autonomy get to the local government chairman direct. So these are good statements. But then it's one thing for you to make a commanding statement. It's another thing for it to be followed through. You understand? So yes, he cannot check all the governors. He can't check all the local governments, the chairmen. But then, are the people empowered enough to checkmate what they are political
Leaders.
office holders, their leaders are doing. So, because we live in a country where there is no freedom of expression anymore. Your counselor looks at you and says, you can't hold me accountable. You can't ask me questions. You can't even approach your local government chairman because he feels he's bigger than you. He earns a lot of money. But whereas, they forget that it's the people that you're serving.
Right.
It's the people. Without the people, you are only taking a walk. And it's as simple as that. So that mindset, there must be an attitudinal change. And yes, we have the people's problem. But then they've so empowered poverty in the lives of an average Nigerian. Hence the reason why at every point in time they give a penny, Nigerians jump at it. You understand? So they've weaponized poverty, and you won't blame Nigerians. Yes, the change must start from all of us. It starts with you. It starts with you saying something and saying something. It starts with the leaders being ready and open to listen to the plight and the cry of the people. Advice, criticism, take it in good faith and work with it.
Well, that's a very valid point. You see something, you say something, and the leaders, should be open to this criticism. Look
yes.
at just Adetong.
Right.
Look at the mess she almost found herself in because she's crying out on behalf of the masses.
Yes.
She sees the sufferings of the people, and she has put herself in that position of being a scapegoat, and then, she's being terrorized. She's an Adetong just as I am. But the truth is that I would have been the first critic.
But then.
But because it's not even that's because we have the same name. I would have criticized her. But I see the point in what she's saying. She's fighting these things. These things are not good, and they're simply not good. Why don't we just open our minds and take this criticism,
take the message and then
run with it and use it, to help us get better. The same thing, the young man who recorded the roads was picked up by the DSS. This is not the way to run a government. It's not the way to run a government. It's only, I just believe that, some leaders behave like spoiled children. And that it's unfortunate.
That's the
The Ogun State governor, in particular, has not done much. Because Ogun State is a state that has so many potentials. And he's not even tapped one tenth of it. And people are telling you where and how you can get better, and you're picking them up. I mean, why?
I was in a strategy session and about governance really, and I told someone, I said, look, I would, if I were in government, I probably would even encourage people to come up with some of these things, because there are a lot of times that when people speak, yes, maybe everything may not be entirely true, but out of, let's take Adetong, just Adetong, for example. Adetong will raise issues. I might have my reservations about some of the issues she raises, but when you sit down and look at it, I mean, a lot of times she's like 70 to 80% correct. That's like when you remove emotion. So the 20 or 30% I'm talking about is emotions. But the 70% is reality. You understand? So leaders should stay away from prosecuting and persecuting people who speak out. Just listen, look at what they're saying, how true is it, get your aides. At least almost all of them have hundreds of aides. Get one that, let them look at these issues, and then we look at how to make amends. It's not about, so encourage people to speak.
But there isn't it the government that is saying, see something, say something.
Yes.
Or hear something, say something.
You know the thing, because Nigerians,
freedom
if you are saying
freedom of speech,
if you are saying,
there's
if
no
you are not
freedom
saying
after
the
you
truth,
speak.
you know what? If you are not saying the truth, when Nigerians listen to you, they know you are not saying the truth. So if somebody wakes up tomorrow and says, Sanwo-Olu is not good, Dapo Abiodun is bad, when you reel out all the things that makes them bad, Nigerians, they are not necessarily even the friends of these people we are mentioning. But when they listen, they can tell that this one they find within the chop. You understand? So our leaders, our governors, councillors, all of
Ministers,
these
local
office
government
holders,
chairmen, and every leader.
please let people speak. There's no
Yes.
big deal about it. Let them speak. It will help you at the end of the day. Because
Certainly.
there's been cases where people talk about stuff. The case of the guy who went to take make videos of the road, he pointed out something. Could we not just simply correct? And if it was a wrong impression he presented, can't we just present the better impression or the right impression? I think and it helps us as a people.
Do you know something, Adebayo? Do you know if the Ogun State governor had sent them to get that person, bring him to his office, get the cameramen, and the media to cover it, sit him down and thank him, and say you did a
Yes.
fantastic job. Thank you for bringing this to my
notice,
attention.
yes.
You understand? To my notice, and we are going to ensure that we work on these roads to make life, better for
the people.
citizens of
Empower
Ogun
this
State.
young, make him an ambassador.
And
Let
then
him-
make
let
him,
him-
so he can
that's
let him
where
go
I was-
round.
That's where I was
These
going.
issues.
That's where I was going. And then, give him something to do, engage him
Engage
and
him.
empower him. I mean, people will be singing the governor's
No,
praise.
this governor gets sense. So
Honestly, that's it.
But let's see the other winner, the reverse.
I don't really get it. But
I hope the
honestly,
message gets
this see
across,
something,
yeah.
say something. Is it a bait?
or
No, because that's what it seems to be. If you say see something, say something, and people are seeing and saying, and you're picking them up and you're threatening them, then I think it's a bait. We have to be careful.
They will tell you it's the way you said it.
Abi.
How
They
else
start
would you?
teaching us how to say
The Yorubas have a saying. They say
Yeah.
what is wrong is
It's
wrong.
wrong.
There's no two
There's
ways
no
about
there's
it.
no way to dress it up.
Yeah.
You understand? What is
Sure.
wrong is wrong. Well, this is Nigeria, and I always say it's a stage. We're always acting one thing or the other. Perhaps this is
what?
Act 10, Scene 15. Let's see what comes on next. It's still the Bumper Breakfast Show. There's a video of senators clashing over budget defense in heated exchange, and I'd like to read a part of that story. Tension flared on Wednesday during the budget defense session involving the Federal Ministry of Works as two lawmakers, Senator Onyekachi Nwaibonyi, Ebonyi
Ebonyi
North Central, and Senator Rufai Sani Hango, Kano Central, engaged in a heated exchange. The confrontation occurred while the ministry, led by the Minister of Works, David Umai, appeared before the lawmakers to present and defend its 2026 budget proposal. In a video circulating online, Nwaibonyi was heard raising his voice at Hanga during proceedings. Hanga responded, "Don't shout at me," as the situation escalated. Nwaibonyi then declared, "I can preside over this meeting," a remark that drew a sharp response from Hanga, who said, "No, I am also a presiding officer." Borno State Senator Ali Ndume was seen in the footage attempting to calm tension, urging Hanga to remain composed because cameras were present. Despite the intervention, Hanga fired back, asserting that he secured 10 times more votes in his election than Nwaibonyi. The disagreement briefly disrupted the session before order was restored and deliberations continued. Well, if you ask me, I would say that I don't know why this made the news. Honestly, because when something is a norm, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, this is just small. Haven't you seen chairs flying?
Being thrown around.
Haven't you seen blows and punches being exchanged? What kind of thing really is this? When matured men cannot sit down and have a deliberation, a conversation, just be civil. I mean, why is it that we always allow our tempers to rise? Especially when we're discussing things that concern us, national issues. I mean, what's the problem? Why are we so badly behaved? Adebayo, what do you think about this?
So just after I looked at that, like you said, I didn't see why this should make the news. And then shortly after I saw that, I saw a clip of Kemi Badenoch in the parliament having like a confrontation with another, the opposition. And so she reeled out her own points why the opposition was a weaker party. And they waited, listened, everybody listened, and then the opposition representative, the other, also came up, and and it was a civil.
It was civil.
Yet, very, very strong
And
points
powerful.
were thrown at
Punchy.
each other. You understand? But it was civil. So, and these are the people that we like to copy. Let me use that term. Now, in the whole of this heated argument, if you look at it, there's nothing in clear terms, at least as far as the report has, that relates to the budget in question. So let's even say they now get to that point. It's about somebody saying, no, I have more right to talk about this. I have more right to talk about that. You understand what I mean? The real issues that we are confronted with.
Exactly. You left that one.
So so they started the battle of egos. And so why I always come back to us, the people, is that how do we find this kind of characters? So when I was reading it, why boy was defending his brother. That's me just thinking that how can you say, why is he asking for so much money? Because we didn't see the real news, but why is he asking for so much money when your own brother was there? Do you understand? That's the only thing I saw in all of that. Why is it coming up against my brother? What are they in that floor for if it wasn't for people to come up against people to say, why are you spending so much money? You understand what I mean?
Sure.
So because we need to now start, it is no news, yet there are elements of the news within this altercation. Why exactly were they having that heated argument? Minister came to present his budget. If the budget was not serving everybody, somebody has a right to come up there to say, this budget is for Nigerians now. So why should it lead to a fight? You understand what I mean? So it means, what kind of people do we have representing us, and what do they represent? Stanley said it earlier. They are not representing us. They are representing themselves. I'll rest my case.
Stanley.
So, first things first. Umai went and met the committee. See, this power talks in this dear nation of ours is a big problem. I am more superior than you. I want to defend my brother.
Who are you?
I want to do
Who are
this.
you? You know who I am.
You know who I am. That's our major problem.
Ooh.
Now, it's a normal routine for every minister to be screened and checked for every budget. Now, every ministry presents their budgets. And they look at the budget and they ask, why do we need to spend this amount? It's a normal thing. This was the same reason Abiningi raised in 2024, and it's alleged that they padded the 2024 budget. Now, these are some of the figures you see that would give you reasons to believe that there is always budget padding every year. This one wants to take XYZ amount. This ministry wants to take this XYZ amount. This permanent secretary wants to do this It's a problem. Now, there is a certain amount the minister gave that would fix some roads. Remember, not all the roads are fixed by the federal government. The federal government, do you understand? For example, the likes of Dangote, Bua have picked up as the tax, whatever. So you just use that, fix the roads. Now, he has presented, perhaps they were not pleased with it.
Sorry, can you hold your thought before
Yes.
I forget? Which is what I expect the Ogun State governor to do with
With
companies
all
like
these industries all over the place.
See your governor.
This company. I'm coming. One
See
second.
your governor.
What's his name of this big company on the road?
Which one?
Mikano.
Yeah.
Mikano,
Mikano is
Petals, all those companies lined up there. Okay, let's use this tax towards
come back
this
to something for us,
alternative roads. Let's fix them. But
That's what they call corporate social responsibility.
the only thing that they will do right is to pick people up when they express themselves. It's very, very disheartening. It's very disheartening when you know the truth. You want to say the truth for the development of
And
not
then
just
somebody comes
Tone,
after you.
for the development of everybody, all concerned. Because when you leave that position, one day you're going to you may need that road.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's also for you in advance, and then you're picking people up.
You
Come on.
know the funniest thing? The man who defended David Umahi will be seen as a good servant.
To him.
To him, definitely. Now, the other one who countered why they have to spend humongous amounts, definitely one thing is sure. If if focus and attention is on him, he may not return to that Senate. That's the funniest part.
That one, that he's a troublemaker.
That's the funniest part. See, we need to understand that all of these monies are taxpayers' monies and should be spent and expended judiciously.
And accounted for.
Accounted for. See, if we start calling for accountability, I will grow old, my next generation will come, ask the same question, call for this same thing, and it would not happen because it's not in our DNA. Because that's the reason why every governor would want an anointed successor to cover
his track.
You understand? So how do you expect us to get concrete accountability in this country? So I dare say that in the interest of the people, Senator David Umahi should please give us budget that we can afford, because all the roads are going to be used by Nigerians. Mr. President hardly plies our road. He goes on air, comes, lands, and how often does Dakwa Abiodun that we are criticizing, and how often does he ply these roads? So they are less concerned about what you and I are faced with. What they are bothered with is, okay, how would this get to me? How would that get to me? Let me expend this amount so I can keep this amount. And it's not helping us as a people. So this public disgrace, for me, it's uncalled for.
All right. You were actually showing me my governor of the newspaper. I'm kind of eager, because I'm looking for that opportunity to defend my governor.
Unfortunately, you don't have.
Because you were showing me the paper, I'm like,
no, this one.
I'm kind of excited that there's something good I would be able to say about my governor, because he is my governor. He's the governor of the state where I live.
Okay.
But when we get there, we'll cross that bridge. In the meantime, we're looking, Kwakwanso and others may face U.S. visa ban over religious freedom violations. Oh, well. Well, let's look at the story. The United States has proposed targeted measures, including visa bans and asset freezes against individuals and groups accused of involvement in religious freedom violations in Nigeria. According to the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026. On Tuesday, the United States Congressman, Rep. Riley Moore, R. West Virginia, announced via X the introduction of the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026. Really? Co-sponsored by Rep. Chris Smith, R. New Jersey. The bill specifically names the former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, as well as Fulani ethnic nominated militias and associates such as the Miyetti Aha Cattle Breeders, Breeders Association of Nigeria, and Miyetti Allah Kautola Hall. The bill party read, the United States should deliver humanitarian assistance co-funded by the government of Nigeria through trusted faith-based and non-governmental organizations in Nigeria's Middle Belt states. The Department of State and Department of Treasury should impose targeted sanctions, including visa bans and asset freezes under the global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act on individuals or ethnic or entities responsible for religious freedom violations. Um, well, the story goes on and on. I'm not wearing my glasses, so it's a bit difficult for me. Well, the basic thing here is that there's going to be a visa ban, on all the people who are suspected to be enemies of progress in the religious
Religious circle.
a religious circle, and certain people have already been named, and that's quite sad. Kwakwanso tops the list of those people who have been named, and but the good thing is that there's going to be some sort of assistance, to those areas that have been so affected. Well, we've often said this on this table. We've talked about insecurity. We've talked about the sponsorship of all these insurgents and a lot of all this kidnapping being backed by people in government. Well, all these are allegations. Nobody can really put their fingers to it or to them. But having said that, it is something that comes up every now and again. So much so that we've even had the minister for it's not blue economy, Dele Alake,
Solid minerals.
solid minerals. The minister for solid minerals,
Mining and solid minerals.
yeah, mining and solid minerals, has come up to say that that we have a very strong cabal who they keep threatening people, and these people, this cabal, are members of the government. So it was alleged. Now, we don't know how long we're going to be at this, when people are talking every day about, how we can ensure that Nigerians are secure. We secure the lives and properties of Nigerians. We're begging the government to do this. People, the outside world are watching, and they don't stop watching. I was going to bring something, but I'll be digressing a bit. Our First Lady went to the United States of America. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. And she was praised by Donald Trump.
And she was praised by Donald Trump. That's the part that we saw. Did you see the other part?
Did you see the other part?
Oh, okay. You don't know. You actually, that means you don't really know what happened. Okay, so let's not dive.
The other part was she was supposed to go on a radio program, and the presenter said, "I don't want to see her."
First of all, she wasn't even invited to. She wasn't allowed into the White House. She wasn't allowed into White, but she was allowed into. There's this meeting. Is it a praise meeting or something? Yeah. She was allowed in there, but to have a one-on-one, no. And she comes off and tells everyone, how Nigerian politicians are not respected at home, but they're respected outside the country. And from somebody's analysis, she said, well, you had the President of the United States of America, praise you within 1 second, but don't forget that, perhaps if you had given him another second,
he would have done more negative.
It would have been something on the completely opposite
yeah.
side, because but it is what it is. So let's not lose track of what we're talking about. The truth and the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of allegations that people are being sponsoring, these Boko Haram and all these terrorists and so on and so forth. And if the U.S. is going to ban them, then that's going to be quite shameful for Nigeria. And I think that these are the things that the First Lady should have been focusing on and talking about. As a mother, she's a mother to the entire nation. And one would have expected she would have come out, people are being killed, children are being killed, women are being killed, men are being killed. And if visiting the United States of America is priority, then I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let me not digress. Adebayo Olupeju, there's too much to talk about, but it is what it is. You can see what's on the table. So they may face, a ban from the U.S. government.
You see, I like the way you rounded it off. That the First Lady should have been doing her campaign within the country. When I see headlines of countries putting sanctions on us, visa ban and all those things, to be honest, I'm not even moved about it at all. It doesn't move me one bit. What should happen? Nigeria should not see this, because see, it's just a threat at the leadership.
Nigeria should not see
this
all these things.
visa ban
Yeah.
and all that. It doesn't make any sense to me. What should make sense is we have had Dubai some years back, like 2 or 3 years ago, allegedly sent a list of terrorist sponsors. We really don't know. We saw names, but we don't know who these people are, and we don't know what happened to them. This list that is coming from the US, having Kwankwaso on it, how much of this information does Nigeria have? What is Nigeria doing about it? So whether they are banned, they can go to other countries now. Shebi, we have a lot of leaders that are banned from the United States already, even not necessarily for terrorism, maybe for other crimes. You understand? They are still living their lives. So what are we doing in Nigeria? What's the country doing? Why can't we get to the point where, before anybody elsewhere deals with people who are frustrating us, why can't we start to deal with them ourselves? This story of cabal, we've had too much of it. US is playing its card. I've said it before. US is playing their own card, and we are following in the path of the US. It's as if we're even confused about these issues. We can't put our house in order. And US is coming, and US is not coming to put it in order for us. US is putting it in order for themselves. It is the US game that the US is playing.
The US agenda.
Yes.
That is playing out.
They are not playing our own interests. Banning Kwankwaso from coming to the US.
How does that affect the rice and beans on my table?
Do you understand?
How does it affect my bank account?
And you know the funny part, he's not coming to the US doesn't stop his business from going on in the US. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we should start to look at these things.
But in May, because they say they will freeze
these stories, I don't trust DJT, for instance. You understand? I don't trust him, and he's done it like across the world. So it's an agenda, but inside of the US's agenda, Nigeria should take a cue. How do we earn the respect of the world? You see, you remember we mentioned this PR thing, that why pay a foreign organization to do? And so when Trump said these things, people already connected it. Okay, our $9 billion is working. Do you understand? Trump wants money in the US, and so it's not going to be a strange thing that actually all these dots are connected, because Trump in one place calls us a country of particular concern. In another speech, he says, oh, these are respected. Do you understand what I'm saying? So was it not in view that the First Lady is a pastor, and that the First Lady is concerned about Christians in Nigeria, and then that statement comes? So it's just like they're putting us on a cruise. They're catching cruise with us. And then our own selves, even our parliamentarians, or the Senate people and the reps. These are little things that they should, those who want to shine, these are little things that they can pick and x-ray properly, and we start seeing them in shiny armors. But it's always the US that will bring it to us. So I can't do, the whole thing, it's so superficial to me. It's not deep enough for me to think properly about.
So let me ask the young man sitting beside me who pretended like he didn't know what was up, and then at the end of the day he spilled it out without even knowing. First of all, what was that pretense for? And then secondly, I mean, how come you decided to now spill more than I
It was
even...
a strategic move. They've taught us how to work in strategy now, so it was a strategic move. You understand? Yeah. So very simple. This is the first time I'm hearing of Kwankwaso being one of the financiers of not insurgency now, religious freedom violation. I know him to be a lover of the people, well loved by the people. If you say Mieti Allah, the rustlers, I would easily say yes to an extent. But Kwakwanso in this picture, and yes, Issa Pantami is not on this list. It raised eyebrow. If Issa Pantami, who openly said it, is not on this list, then there's a problem. There's an agenda against Kwakwanso. This is Stanley Polycarp saying this. Remember recently, he and his godson had a fallout because he joined the APC. That's not a problem. How come 2 weeks down the line, he's been listed here? And the major person who openly said it, is not on this list. Then there's a problem somewhere. There's more to this that meets the eye. There are so many things that I think will be unraveled in the days to come. The APC have said they are backing him. The NNP have said they are backing him. I don't have a problem. Atiku Abubakar had issues, Alubotin scandal.
Yeah.
Until date, it hasn't been resolved.
And the man is still living.
And he's still living his life. Now, if you must punish, I think it should go round. Let everyone involved be punished severely. Don't pick one. This is like one out of how many? Thousands of them in Nigeria. So this religious freedom violation, I don't think, I never said something earlier. This has been our major problem, and it has divided us as a people. It has divided us. I grew up amongst Muslims, well respected. Now, sometimes I begin to ask myself, what was preached back then in Islam? Is it different from what's preached now? No. But some people have decided that they want to take it to the extreme, which is what the two holy books condemned. Now, like I said, if you are picking Kwakwanso, you are alleging Kwakwanso, and if at the end of the day his banned, his properties are seized and whatever, then it comes back to one thing. They want to indirectly cripple this man. I am not a fan of Kwakwanso, but I have looked at it holistically.
Yeah.
I have looked at this
really, really love your analysis. You know,
it's very simple.
A very valid point.
There is a target. There is a target.
Because the only name really did I read any other name?
No other name. I have read through.
So
I read everything from A to Z yesterday, and I'm like, Lord have mercy. This man, well, I have never met him.
We never can tell, though. You know, it's an allegation. But what Stanley is trying to say is that if there was this allegation, then that list should have been so robust.
Very, very. Because for me, Issa Pantami will be number one.
There are loads of people. See the list from UAE. There are people on that list. You understand?
Let Hope Uzodinma give us the list he has. Let Governor Hope Uzodinma, let him give us the list he wanted to read to us.
He wanted to read to us, and he swallowed it.
Yeah, he didn't want problem for the country.
He didn't want problem for the country. They don't raise the
whole
problem.
Don't start the conversation.
Don't start what you can't finish.
So you see why I say this is not something for me to even bother my mind about, because it's just an agenda, basically. Now, I don't know, like, he has a different perspective to it. I don't know what direction it's coming from, but it's just an agenda.
It is.
Kwankwaso came to Lagos ahead of the 2023 elections when he started his campaigns. I was invited to the venue. I saw him. The man, at least on the outside, let's say, is not the man that this presentation presents. No. You understand? So when I see Kwankwaso's name, even when you look at the way he plays his politics, at least so far, but for his name to be here, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
Wow, Kwakwanso has some silent fans. I didn't expect this, actually. All right, we're going to be looking at the federal government ordering NAFDAC to suspend sachet alcohol ban. So I'll take just a bit of the story. The federal government has directed the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to suspend all enforcement actions relating to the proposal ban on sachet alcohol and 200 ml PET bottle alcoholic products. The government also warned the agency to immediately stop sealing factories and warehouses over the issue. The directive was contained in a statement issued on Wednesday in Abuja by the Special Advisor on Public Affairs to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Terence Kwanum. Kwanum said the order followed a joint intervention by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Office of the National Secretary and National Security Advisor, which raised concerns over the security implications of continued enforcement in the absence of a fully implemented national alcohol policy. According to all actions, decisions, or enforcement measures relating to the ongoing ban on sachet alcohol are to be suspended pending the final consultations and implementation of the national alcohol policy and the issuance of a final directive, the statement read. He said although the national alcohol policy had been signed by the Federal Ministry of Health in line with the directive of President Bola Tinubu, both offices insisted that NAFDAC must refrain from all enforcement measures until the policy is fully implemented and further directives are issued. The government said such measures include factory shutdowns, warehouse sealing, and public emphasis on the sachet alcohol ban. Well, the story continues, but that's the beats that we can take right now. So obviously, there's going to, they're going to stop. There's going to be a halt, on the yes.
The suspension of
the sachet alcohol on sachet alcohol ban. For some people, it came as a welcome idea when the news broke. Just because there's been a lot of menace on the roads
and abuse of
a lot of menace from the abuse of it, on the roads, in the society, everywhere, in various communities. It's just been a whole lot. And so for some people it was a welcome idea, but of course for the users, they would surely want to kick against it, because some people can't even live a normal life. First thing in the morning, they must have a sachet of one of these alcoholic drinks, and that's the life that they live. Yeah. So now there's been a halt on this thing. What do you think the effect would be on the economy and on society?
So it's very simple. The abuse is one thing. The menace, I beg your pardon, that is causing amongst youths and the general public is on that thing. I think we first must consider the economic impact and implication. These producers of this sachet alcohol are also employers of labor.
Sure.
Now, if you ban the production, then you are cutting the source of livelihood of some people. Now, proper regulation is our problem in this country. Now, if NAFDAC is saying this is becoming a menace in the society, they have their points. Now, how did all of this come to life? Not every Nigerian can afford the expensive wine. Hence the reason why this idea of sachet alcohol came to life. Now, you can't tell which one is fake or original, and the effect it has had and it's still having on the people's body and their system. So many factors are the reasons why NAFDAC said we need to ban it. But they didn't look at the economic effect. What's it called now? The DG of NECA called a press conference. Myself and Abiola Ismail were there. And he addressed it holistically, the economic effect that could possibly affect Nigeria. So I think both the federal government, this thing started with the Senate. And I asked myself, there are better issues that should be addressed. You are looking at the issue of sachet alcohol. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but proper regulation. Perhaps just tell them, don't sell at this time. When I mean regulations, all those people that sells at the back, tell them you can't sell in the morning. Just ensure that things are put in place to make sure that the rising consumption of this thing reduces. You understand? You can't stop it. Let's just be honest. You can't stop it. Like I said, both the government and NAFDAC need to sit on a round table meet, discuss, deliberate, dialogue, because these are daily breadwinners. You will be taking their source of livelihood from. Yes, you want to cleanse the society, no doubt about that. Dora Akuyili played a part. She also wants to make a statement, no doubt about that. But there are ways I think NAFDAC has kicked against it too.
No, I was going to let you finish.
Because the reaction,
in my asking Adebayo,
Yeah.
I will now inform him
Yeah.
that NAFDAC has, they're kicking against that suspension.
Yeah.
They say, they want it to be suspended, and totally, no,
no going back.
no going back, for them. So Adebayo, what's your take on this? Stanley has analyzed and said, this, we have an economic aspect that we need to look at. So it's like a scale, really, the one side and the other side, the economic aspect, and then we also have the lives of Nigerians, the abuse of it and all of that, and the lack of ability of Nigeria, to enforce, proper regulations. So it's like a scale. Now, which one will weigh heavier? Should we consider the economic side of it, or we should consider the fact that we may be losing some lives, on the other hand?
Thank you, Stanley, for your position on it, and thank you to the reality for me is alcohol. If they ban sales of before we had sachet,
Yeah.
alcohol was still being abused.
Sure.
The menace that is there today had always been there.
It has only just increased.
So now, well, we have records of things that we have done in the past. So the road managers, the regulatory bodies, everybody, so it's not just NAFDAC, FG and all this, it's the whole stakeholders, it's a stakeholders meeting. There are people who will never stop consuming alcohol. But what should they do? How do they get to start to consume alcohol responsibly? Because you don't want to throw people out of jobs, because you want to prevent people's lives, protect lives. You understand? What I think needs to be done is, those of us who drive, starting point, we need to be checked on a constant basis. We don't do alcohol tests. There are loads of drivers who are killing people every day on the road, and they are drunk from morning till night. We are not working on that. We need to also regulate the sales of these things. There are places where alcohol should not be sold. So, the list goes on and on, but I think it's more of a regulatory thing than outright banning.
Okay, so perhaps, we need to look at that. It's more of a regulatory thing, but the thing is that we do not have the number of hands. We don't have the foot soldiers to ensure that these things, are really regulated. That's the thing. Because the number, you can't. They just outweigh the consumers.
Yeah.
Outweigh the number of officials or officers that will be, trying to regulate, or do breath tests and all, all of that. It's a complex thing, really.
It is.
It's something we really cannot discuss because we don't. I mean, in depth, because we
that.
don't have the time. We need to take a break right now, because we're expecting some guests on the program. So yes, we want to say thank you for watching the Bumper Breakfast Show. This segment is about to end. This is our first course. We will invite you to join us for the second course for breakfast on the Bumper Breakfast Show. We'll take a break right now, but we will return. So don't go anywhere. It's still the Bumper Breakfast Show on MITV.
We're kicking your year off
in all her glory.
with more because we've got you.
You know that I got it.
You get it?
We got kicks, we got scores, we got action, we got roars.
It's my specialty.
We got drama, we got fun. We got more for everyone.
Bingo.
You know that I got it. You know that I got it.
Come get it. Come get with us and stick with us too. And boom, there's an upgrade on us just for you.
We got you.
More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay.
Perfect.
For the fam, for the crew, more for you every day. Yes, we've got more of everything you need to start your year with extra joy.
You know that I got it.
Thank you.
DSTV, we've got you all the way.
You know that I got it.
You're welcome back. It's still the bumper breakfast show on MITV, course number 2. So we had a starter, and this is the main meal. And guess what? We have guests with us in the studio this morning. And in commemoration of the World Cancer Day and Pediatric Cancer Awareness, the Lions Club in District 404A3 are live with me on the program. And what are they going to do? In 15 minutes, they will be raising awareness, they will be educating the public, and of course they will be advocating for early detection of cancer. And I have with me on the table, it is my greatest delight to start, by introducing the president of the Ikorodu Sapphire. She is Lion Ada Blessing. It's nice to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, I started with the woman, because the men always give way for women, and that's the way to be a gentleman. So I started with the woman. So now time for me to introduce the 2 other gentlemen who have flanked her on both sides. I'd like to introduce to you Lions Club, Sapphire Lions Club Ikorodu, Dr. Odejimi Koya.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, sir. And we also have Lion Salawuddin Olakunle Musbau. He is the service chairperson. It's nice to have you, sir.
Good morning, viewers. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. All right. So we're talking about cancer awareness. We're talking about, the World Cancer Day, and we're also focusing on pediatric cancer, right? We want to. Am I correct? Am I in line?
Yeah.
Oh, I am. Okay. All right. So who's going to be speaking first?
Okay, I'll be going first.
Okay, you'll be going first, doctor. All right, doctor. Let's hear from you. This cancer. What is it that the Lions Club actually intend to do?
Good morning, viewers. The basic problem that we seem to have on our hands in Nigeria, being a developing country, is that we know that cancer is a scourge across the globe. However, in a developing country like Nigeria, we know that majority of these conditions are presented late to our facilities, and unfortunately, as of the time that they will be presenting, the stuff will have gotten out of hand to the extent that what you are expected to probably spend few months minimal amount of money to manage will have gone out of hands to the extent that you will be requiring millions of naira to help the patient. And unfortunately, it would have gotten to the level that it will have created both psychological problem to the patient and then to the relative and even to the community. And unfortunately, sizable number of the parents of these patients are found amongst the lower cadre, people that are of low income or at most maybe middle class. And by the time they will be presenting, the problem will have been so much that they wouldn't be able to care for the patient in terms of financial assistance, and of course the patient would go down and probably die from the condition.
Which is really what we don't want.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what are you doing to ensure that this doesn't happen, Lion Ada?
Thank you very much. The reason why we're here is raising awareness, which is one of the key things. So raising an awareness and also advocating, telling the people that healthy lifestyle really matters, and also educating the people that we need to go for regular checkup, and also disease from too much excessive intake of alcohol and the use of tobacco and all of that. Then also we raise an awareness in Lions Club International District 404A3 as one of the global causes that we celebrate every Lions year. This awareness is to tell people that early detection really matters, and early detection also save lives as well.
All right, this is the World Cancer Day that we are trying to celebrate and be a part of, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to be addressing Lion Salawuddin. So the Lions Club is doing all of this. What kind of impact are you expecting?
Basically, good morning, viewers, once more. My name is Sarimila Kulemiswa. The impasse we're trying to put on the table for people, for our viewers out there is early detections and great and aggressive awareness saves a lot of lives. Because anybody with cancer, you can't just keep silent. If you keep silent, you die silent. So by this, the awareness we're trying to advocate for the educated community, and also giving a life support to the people affected, to the family affected by cancer in the community, emotionally and financially otherwise.
And financially. Doctor, you know that you are a medical expert, and you know that, cancer is a silent disease. More often than not, it is caught late, just as you rightly said. Not because the body that carries the cancer doesn't want to detect it, but just because the symptoms, by the time they start to manifest, it's already, more often than not, it's far gone. Now, you're advocating this morning, that people should go for regular checkups so that they can, they can detect even before the symptoms start to manifest. Am I correct? Is
Yes.
that what you're trying to
Of
do?
course.
Yes. But again, we realize that a lot of people are not financially capable. So what I'm trying to say is that, will you as a group be ready to say, you know what, let us put together a screening? Do you understand? Because if anybody who is not financially capable comes to the Lions Club and says, oh, I want to go for a test and everything, because you don't see that person, physically with a physical eye as being ill, or having any form of ailment, you probably would not believe that the person needs to go for a screening. So are you guys trying to put, some sort of screening exercise together for them to benefit from?
Thank you very much. You see, before you talk of screening and the perspective of Lions Club coming in to assist, the parents of these children need to be aware of simple things that they should watch out for them to be able to detect these conditions early. Once they're able to do that, they would be able to provide enough information, reasonable information, that would kind of help guide the physician, the doctor, that, oh, this looks like this. And at that point in time, then the doctor can then say, okay, with these and these and these, maybe we should be looking at this, as in, this is my, what they call it, my diagnosis, or my immediate diagnosis as of now. Then let's go ahead and then do screening. And at that point in time, bodies like Lions Club that is readily available to assist in raising fund, in raising the awareness, and then in helping with research can then come in. The funds are available, but you see, the problem really is that people don't get to trust the people that we are planning or trying to assist. The funds are available, and the Lions Club is ready, willing to go to any extent, provided the patient's condition is diagnosed properly, confirmed, and then they'll be willing to do the treatment too.
Okay, Leonardo, are you doing this just for children? Because I see that it's a focus on pediatrics, or just anybody who has cancer,
Okay.
who has been diagnosed of cancer. According to doctor, you have to have been diagnosed of cancer before you guys can step in. Is it so you can tell us about it?
Okay, thank you very much. The thing is, we're doing it for everybody.
Okay.
Okay. So the Lions Club International is there to support anybody with such issue, because there is a foundation that is called Lions Club International Foundation, which is LCIF, where we can be able to also ask for further grants to also help in this treatment of the cancer. But one of the key major one that is the first start of the screening is early detection. That's people can also detect by themselves, which is called self-examination. So you examine yourself first and know if there's any symptom of lumps or whatever that is found in the body. so which we all know that is a disease that spread across the whole body. So once that happens, at that time, Lions Club raised this awareness to, first of all, educate people on it. Then later when we carry out screening, like we go to places, we can just put our tent there and call out people for checkup, maybe just detection like that. Then we can now say, okay, let's take people on for the mammography, which is just a simple test that they can be able to diagnose for or check if they are really having it or not. So it's just a way of advocating first before we can move to the next stage.
Before you can move to the next stage. Okay, so from when I hear you speak, you're more centered on the breasts, because you're talking about it's really the breast, but cancers come in all forms.
Yes.
You hear of all sorts. I really praise doctors. How they do this, I don't know. It comes in all forms. I know somebody who died from they call it a rare kind of cancer. It's not a skin cancer, but it started on the skin, and she took the lump of the skin, and before she knew it, it had spread to all parts of her body. The lump was just coming out everywhere, all over her body, and this is a very rare kind of cancer. So cancer there are various kinds of cancer. The ones you can see with your eyes, you can see with your eyes. The ones you can feel with your hands, you can feel with your hands. But there are some you can never see and never know that they exist. And by that time,
Actually, that is the reason why I said that the parents too need to be conscious of what they are looking out for. Like for instance, if a baby or a child is developing what they call eye cancer, for instance, maybe during early morning baths, the mom may just take time to shine, maybe touch into the eyes, and then you see this shiny, funny shiny look like what is in the eye of a cat, and of course you know that, oh, there seems to be a problem here. If your baby is complaining continuously of, say, body pains, headache, in fact, occasionally the baby may just even collapse, and it may be due to what they call cancer of the brain that you can, hardly think is there. They will tell you they're having joint pains, body pain. Some of them may even be having bruises. You may see, what you call red or purple spots all over their bodies. And maybe during brushing for them in the morning, you may just see them bleeding from their mouth. And these are symptoms of cancer. They are warning signs of cancer. Some of them may just get to toilet to wee, and you see that they are unable to pass urine. And in fact, some of them may be able to pass urine, but in that urine you see blood. So that may be discussing, as in pointing to what they call it, to what we call Wilms tumor. Cancer of the kidney. And when you have all this, you just need to quickly put together a little what they call it, information, as it were. But unfortunately, what majority of parents do these days is they will prefer us to go online to read and then forget every other thing. Meanwhile, the child is dying. The child is dying. So once this awareness is just for them to know that, see, these conditions are there, and it's not as if the fund is not available. In fact, there are organizations like Lions Club that is willing to go to support.
Okay.
So that is, the thing.
We have just 1 second to round up, and before we round up, I'd like to speak to Lion Salawuddin. Yes. Now, you're trying to do awareness, advocacy, that you are there for people who need you in cases of cancer. But what measures are you taking to help them be aware that they have cancer?
Thank you once more. Thank you once more. Lions Club we are feeling on ground to help to educate the community as when due, and also to give a life support to whoever is affected in the community. If you have a cancer does not mean that maybe you be ignored. The entire community has to be accepted and to give you life support. So more so whichever way, awareness, and a serious an aggressive awareness saves lives.
Okay, so aggressive awareness saves lives, and that's from Lance Salawuddin. It's been fantastic talking to members of the Sapphire Lions Club. Am I correct?
Yes.
District 404.
83
A3
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, thank you so much. You've been wonderful guests. That's the much we can take on this segment. So thank you very much, and I hope that those who've been watching and listening now know that there is help somewhere. So don't come and say, oh, my child is sick, we don't know where to go, there's no money, and your child is dying. The Lions Club have come here on television, and they're telling you that they're here for you. They've got your back any day, any time. I'd like to thank you so much for the service that you're rendering to humanity. I pray that God will continue to uphold you and uphold your organization. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you.
All right, that's the much on this segment. We will be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. It's still the Bumper Breakfast Show. Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast Show. We're back really to sign off. We were going to take the newspaper review, but we don't have the time. But not to worry, the Bumper Breakfast Show continues tomorrow, Friday. Rio will be here. All right, Adebayo, we just had the members of the Lions Club on the show, and I think they're doing great works, and they took most of the time. So all we have to do now is to round up on the program. It's time to say about
Sacrifice to humanity.
Yes, in rounding up, I'll say whatever is happening to you, seek help. Don't keep quiet. Don't self-medicate. I am Adebayo Elupeju, and I'm wishing you a wonderful weekend.
Well, I will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much. Always a delight to know that you are there while we are here to serve you nothing but the best of information that you can always bank on. My name is Stanley Paul Ikao. We'll do this again tomorrow. Bye for now.
And my name is Tom Adirele. Thank you for having breakfast with us. I hope to see you again next week, Tuesday, on the Bumper Breakfast Show. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I'm saying this in advance. My weekend starts today. I hope yours starts today as well. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. God bless you.